Hi everyone, this is Glenda, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I take lesson notes for my students' lessons. Now these are my personal notes. Parents take the notes for the children during the lesson and they have their own set of notes. These are for myself for reference. So first I have a Moleskine subject cahier. It is the paper cardboard cover. Okay, and I like it because it's long enough. It gives me enough lines. I run on an 11-week quarter. So, and you'll see why that's important to me to have enough length in my notebook. Okay, so let me show you what I do. What I like about the Moleskine subject cahier is it kind of runs in like Cornell note style. So we have this large margin here at the bottom, and then we have our lines, and we have a margin on the top. Okay, so what I have my students do is choose 3 goals for every quarter, and then other stuff that we can work on. But again, I like to run in 11 weeks. And when I take my notes, I stick with a subject and then the information related to that subject because I find it's a lot quicker and easier to reference. Many people take notes by dedicating this whole page to one lesson day. But then there's a lot of flipping and a lot of searching to find the information that you're looking for. So for my lesson notes, I again stick with a subject. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I use some sort of marker or a highlighter to divide my page. So this is my first line. So I'm gonna highlight it. Oh, I've got my binder clip here. Okay, so then I just take my highlighter and kind of loosely fill in this space. I had a wider marker, but it died, so. And then I go across to the other side and just kind of fill it in. It's just to divide, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I give myself an extra space, and then I start another line again. Okay, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or so. And then as you can see, the lines bleed through a little bit, or I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I have to do less counting after I do a couple pages because the lines, the colors kind of bleed through. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks, plus an extra buffer just to make it a little more spaced out and organized. And then I draw my lines. Okay, and then I just come across because it's the same on the other side, the same spacing. Okay. All right, so that separates my groups. So this one will be for the first goal, say scales or something, etc. And then I come in, I leave a little space, and then I come down and highlight another spot. Okay, this orange is kind of violent. I just chose this to make it easier to see on the video. I had another marker that I liked. It was a warm kind of gray color, so it did not pop out this much. That's what I prefer. And then I'm just coming in a little bit and making a section. Okay, and then I do it here as well. Now, I have recreated this in a printable format, and I can post that on my studio Patreon if you're interested. If you don't want to set it up yourself in the notebook, you can just print it out and make a binder full of these sheets. They have the fill in for all of these spots. You don't have to do it yourself, so super quick. Okay, so that's how I get it set up. And then at the top of the page, in this top right here is where I will write the student's name. So like I said, the moleskin paper is really thin. You can see the marker bleed through. It's perfect for pencil and some types of pens. It's not super great for fountain pens, which is my preference, but I just deal with it because there are no other, believe me, I looked, notebooks with this configuration and number of lines. I think this is the extra large subject cahier. Okay, so student, and then say we're in winter. So then at the top I would write winter goals at the top, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is in this margin, in this space, let's say the A major scale is what we're working on, okay? And we want to complete it by the end of winter. So then in the first lesson that they come in, I can write the date here. So let's pretend it's, well, today is the 7th, so we'll just mark that the 7th. And then I could put in the year, but I'm a little tight on space, so I could always write like 2021 here. Okay, and then this column is for the section or the measure that we're working on. So we're in like measure 1 or something, and we need, I don't know, better intonation, or I'll say use the drone is what we decided that we were going to work on. Okay, and then what I can do is I can put a little circle here for that task. Okay. Put a circle there for that task, and then if the student finishes it next week, great. Okay, so let's say the following week they come in, like the 14th or something, same measure, same problem. Instead of writing it again, then I would just come down. Okay, so again, 1 something. Okay, so maybe they finally moved on to the second measure, and then we need like a higher C sharp. Okay, if they come back the next week and it's not done, then I can just draw down arrows. Or like if I had my little bullet there, I can just draw a down arrow to tell me that we're gonna continue on that subject. So you can put the bullets and stuff there, or you can put them out here to the side. Okay, you can do dashes, whatever you want. But I like this because, again, it keeps everything related to the one topic in the same area. Also, having 1 line for my notes means that I am not assigning too much. I'm not assigning like 5 goals to topic. Because remember, in Suzuki, we are a 1-point lesson system. So for the A major scale, we have 1 point of focus for that week. So I really don't need more than 1 line, okay? And then let's say another goal is note reading flashcards. Okay, and we're gonna try to complete those flashcards or something. Again, we'll have our date. You can put your bullet however you want. And let's say we had a specific problem with C sharp, and then I can write notes about like why we had trouble with it, like saying, oh, I don't know, there's confusion with 2 versus 3. So for me, that's confusion with using second finger versus third finger or something like that, okay? And then for the third goal, maybe we're working on, we need to rosin bow before practice. Okay, and then we can work our way down like that. So then I have space here in the bottom. Okay, and I can use that, for example, oh, they have a school concert on February 14th or something to remind me, or might say having trouble with sight reading and anxiety or something. Okay, that I can make personal notes down. Here are things that I might want to talk about that aren't related to the things that we're working on, or notes myself like, oh, email chart if I reference some sort of like review chart or something, then I can write little notes to myself about that down there. And or I can use this for like group class space. If I'm taking notes during group class, I can write it here. I usually have a specific section for that child for group class. Like group class, we'll play through a couple review pieces, and the one review piece that sticks out could be something that I make a note about. Okay, so let's use a piece as an example. So if we're working on the twinkles right now, I would put the date 1/7, and in this spot, say we're working on the A section. So I like having this column because it helps me find the spot or the measure that we're working on very quickly, and I don't actually have to read through a bunch of notes. Okay, twinkles, A section with the piano. Okay, and then the next week, B section, and then if we're again with the piano, just draw a down arrow, and then the following week, the whole piece with the piano, and so on. So your note taking for students does not have to be super complicated. Again, I like this system and this format because it keeps everything on that subject all in one space, instead of saying, okay, this is the page for today and these are all the things that I am working on what we did in that lesson. Because in 4 lessons from now, if you need to reference it, then you have to figure out what day it was and then flip back to it and then read through everything. Whereas here, I can say, okay, 4 lessons ago, we were still working on this. What's going on? Why are we having trouble with that? How can I help you accomplish this? Or how can I explain it a little bit differently that might help you understand? That sort of thing, okay? Now, parents can use a similar note-taking system, but for students, for their personal notes, I do recommend having a notebook where you have a few pages dedicated to a piece. So you could have you could photocopy the sheet music and paste it in your notebook, and then have notes with this style going through, have a few pages. So by the time you finish it, you'll have some notes, but if you have some extra space, when you come back to it as a review piece, then you can see some of the things that you previously may have had issues with, or your notes will be there. You'll still have the notes and they probably will be relevant in some way to that piece. So this is just a more efficient way to organize your notes, and maybe I'll do a second video on how students could organize their own notebooks, or parents could organize their own note-taking books. But I think this setup is the best for referencing information quickly later on. Okay guys, that is how I take notes for my students. Again, this is my personal notebook. It doesn't go to them. It has all of my students in the same notebook. It is the Moleskine subject cahier. I believe it's the extra large. That's the one that gives me 11 spaces. See if I could find. That's the one that gives me 11 spaces because I have 11 weeks in my quarter. And then I have 3 sections for the 3 goals that we do. Of course, if you have more, if you're more on that 14-week quarter, you can still do it. You'll just only be able to fit 2 subject areas on the page, but that's fine. So they also come in a 2-pack, I believe, of the cahier notebooks. So you get 2. I am almost full with this one, so next quarter I will not be able to fit more notes in here. That's why this is a good time for me to share with you how I do it, because I only have a few pages left. Alright guys, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.